museums that we work with, they all appreciate the process that we go through and how it is reshaping how curatorial work is done. We're doing it different than anybody has ever done it before. We do that work because it allows us, I think, to have the biggest impact and change within kids. If we can teach them right from the beginning, teach them not only the history but the contemporary life of Indigenous people, other marginalized groups at a very young age, then we're not in a place where we have to build exhibits that correct those false narratives down the road. Hi, I'm Stephen Peters. I'm a creative director at smokesygnals and co-owner with my wife, Jennifer. I'm also a citizen of the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe.
My name is Jennifer Peters. I'm the executive administrator at smokesygnals. We are a native creative production agency.
My background was in really branding and marketing. I did it for a college for a number of years, did it for a science institution down in Woods Hole, and then went into a financial institution. We rebranded that institution, found it wildly unfulfilling. And so after we were done with that, I left there and really turned to my wife and I said, I'd like to give smokesygnals, which is a company that my mother had founded. She founded it with an idea of really a communications company that served marginalized businesses and communities. And it was a big leap of faith. And we kind of found our way.
Before I came on full-time in 2019, Steve was running the business. At that time, he was working with the Plymouth 400 events and telling the story of Plymouth, Mass. And its connection to Plymouth in the UK. But highlighting the Wampanoag story.
We were still kind of figuring things out when we realized that museums and educational institutions were the perfect platform to tell those stories. They were hungry for it. They were looking to engage with companies like ours, but they couldn't find them because as far as we know, at least on the Northeast, we're the only Indigenous creative production company that's there. We are absolutely committed to developing a company that explores the marginalized voices in the very image and voice of those communities. And that's where things have always fallen down for museums, educational organizations, curriculum. That's always been another voice that's interpreting how those people lived, how they live today. And we absolutely flip that on its head. And we take a very different approach where we say, no, we're going to allow those communities to tell us what's important. Since we started, we've now taken on government contracting. So we're doing work with Smithsonian. We're doing work with National Park Services. And because we're one of the few companies that do what we do, and we see this tremendous need out there, I need to make sure that we're able to build a company that can continue without us. So that's kind of how we started. With that, we had to figure out how to manage growth. So we needed help with that. We saw SCORE. We saw them as an organization that was there to support small businesses and found this mentorship program, and we signed up for it. They have a background in growing businesses. They had a background in not only growing businesses, growing small businesses to large businesses. I'm very cognizant of the fact that if Jen and I closed shop today, if my mother closed shop today, it would end. It would be gone. It may be another generation or two before somebody is able to put all the pieces together that we have around creative production with the art, the graphic design, the video production, the exhibit fabrication that we do, in the unique way that we do it. Everything that we fabricate has a component to the cultures and those marginalized communities that are being represented. Even down to the exhibit cases that we build, those have the components of that community built right into it. So now you don't have any objects that are being displayed in a case that is foreign to it. It's all connected. So we needed to make sure, I needed to make sure that what we build continues after we turn our lights off, after we go to bed, or after we retire. It needs to continue. So we want to build something that can stand on its own.